Hello there, this is James, and you're watching OneRoyal, and it's live. And a very happy Friday to all of you, especially to you gold traders. Anyway, in today's program, obviously, I'm going to talk about the love of my life when it comes to trading, which of course is the yellow metal, plus some of the other sort of developments in the market and how the market ends this fairly dramatic week. And plus, we'll have a look at what we might have in store because it's going to prove to be a very interesting week next week. But before we get into all of that, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. With that out the way, let's get started. So, indeed, the day has come that gold has hit $3,000 for the first time ever. Now, I have obviously, a love affair with gold because it's the first asset I've ever traded. But this, and a lot of people thought it was predicted to hit $3,000, but the fact it's hit it so soon, it's become a bit of a surprise. Like I say, this is obviously Trump's trade war, economic concerns are really, really driving the flight to safety. And we started seeing these big moves yesterday. And that was after, obviously, when Trump, he threatened to put 200% tariffs on European wine. Okay, all because Europe retaliated to the 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium. He didn't like that. So he came back for another retaliation of 200%. And this really, again, undermines to the market that we are going to see a lot of tit for tat trade war. This is a sort of trade war we can expect. As well as that, of course, this big rally is being boosted by the central banks buying, buying tons of billions, increasing their reserves. Okay. But really the driving factor behind gold's record-breaking move today is Trump, isn't it? It is this. He's trying to change the rules of global trade with allies and strategic rivals. And let's face it, the market is really caught in the headwind. That's why we've had, and we'll talk about the S&P 500 in the market in a bit. This is why, we've had a lot of very negative closing trading sessions this week. Okay, very negative closing week trading sessions. And again, we'll look at the S&P 500. So this is obviously weighing down on the market, which means people are nervous and we're having the flight to safety. But here's the big question, of course. What happens now? Where does gold go now? It's the big question. Now, gold passed the $1,000 mark for the very first time in the aftermath of the financial crisis. And I remember that very well. And I'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a bit. It then passed the $2,000 mark during the COVID pandemic. Okay, so it breached $2,000 then. Before once obviously it finished, it fell back to 1,600 again after we were all allowed to go out and it all calmed down. But it rose above $2,000 again in 2023 on the back of central banks buying bullion. So as you can see, they're buying, they'll be buying up. They've started to buy in 2023 and they're continuing to do so. So what's next? Well, initially, The big question is it going to continue to rise like it has done today and like it has during the 2 trading sessions? Or are we going to have a bout of profit taking? That's the big question. Now, I'm an old man. Hence the wrinkles and the bags under my eyes. And like I said, I've been trading gold for nearly 20 years. And when I first started, gold was trading around $636 an ounce. That's how long ago it is. Okay. And like I said, I remember in 2008 when gold hit $1,000 an ounce. I remember that. I was there. It was August. I was on the floor. I was screaming. Because we were predicting it was going to go to $1,000 for quite a while. When it finally breached it during the height of the financial crisis, we got obviously extremely excited. So I remember that very well. The first time it hit $1,000. But I also remember a little while after that, okay, the market come down and we did see a bout of profit taking. We did. There was initially profit taking, which makes sense. When it hits an all-time high, A, for one, it's a psychological level. B, people then start taking in, taking profit. And we'll have a look at gold because we can see a little bit of that now. But the question is, during the financial crisis, when it hit 1,000, I remember gold then falling back down to what, 980, 970, 960. Before, because the financial crisis was still ongoing, still it skyrocketed again. So, we asked this question, how long is this trade war going to continue, or the whole drama of the trade war is going to continue? But let's have a look at what some of the other banks say, for example, because there is more and more banks jumping on the gold bandwagon. For example, French bank, Private, I can't say, I'm rubbish at names, my apologies. They said their target for gold in Q2 is $3,200. Now, the only uncertain thing about that is a lot of banks, don't forget we've covered this already, UBS reckons around 3,200. Bank of America has also said, not Bank of America, JP Morgan, sorry, has also said $3,100. But the problem is, which makes it a little bit, I'm not saying that that's not possible. And like I say, if these trading conditions stay the way they are at the moment, then yes, indeed, it could potentially continue to have the law of being a safe haven, especially as more and more central banks continue to buy it. I think that's one of the real driving factors. Okay, but this rally has come so fast, faster than most of us have forecasted. They hit $3,000 this soon, when so many were predicting it to be, like I say, near the end of the year. Now it's happening now. It's really sort of catching everybody a little bit off guard. However, there is still opinions that this is, despite the fact we might see some profit taking in the next couple of trading sessions, this rally potentially may not be over. And we might have a next new high level we're all looking for and get excited about. Now, Michael Widman of Bank of America, he says this: for it to hit $3,500, investment demand would need to rise by 10%. That's not a lot, but it's also not impossible. Anyway, let's have a quick look. Excuse me. Let's have a look at gold and see where we are, because it's been a really exciting day today, and I've been watching it, and I was watching it just as it hit $3,000. I couldn't take my eyes off it. Like I said, it's on the 30 minutes now. Clearly, which everybody would expect, when it passes the record-breaking level, and I think it got the high of around $3,005, you are going to see about a profit taking. You really are. It's just makes sense. You're going to see about a profit taking. I mean, like I say, it's currently trading at 2,983. Not a massive sell-off, but about a profit taking or nonetheless. Okay. Now, if you have a look at it on a daily, okay, you can see again it's back above that trend line, which I find really, 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 really interesting. Okay, I think one of the key areas of interest to keep an eye on. I mean, we will experience, no doubt, potentially this bout of profit taking. Area of interest would be $2,970. That would be very, very interesting indeed. But like I say, really record-breaking day, really exciting, and I'm very pleased for my precious yellow metal. In other stories, the US markets is set to have a 4th week of losses. 4th week of losses. Again, like I said, and we'll have a look at the S&P in a minute and the NASDAQ. We've had a slight bounce today, but we are going to end the week with the 4th straight week of losses. So, again, this trade war, this will he, won't he commit to tariffs, which is my next thing, because I was also confusing the market. So sometimes he'll say, I'm going to put 50% tariffs on Canada, and then 8 hours he changes his mind. However, because of this 200,000% tariffs on EU wine, people started questioning whether or not he's true to his word. But he has started to talk tough. And he said he will not bend this time on tariff threats. So he will not bend on it. He will definitely keep to it, which is interesting. Before we look at the markets, I want to touch on another point as well. The government looks like, or US government looks like, they're about to avoid a shutdown after all. Remember, I was talking about it yesterday. If they didn't pass a certain funding bill, then they would have a government shutdown this weekend. And like I say, the head of the Democrats, he was sort of saying, well, I'm not going to support this bill. So there was chances that there was going to be a shutdown. However, this gentleman has now done a U-turn, and he sort of thinks, well, actually, I'm just giving this to Trump. If I don't do it, he's going to, make out he's the victim of the peace. So he is most likely now going to sign it. So avoid government shutdown. One other thing I want to talk about before we go to the markets. As anticipated, as expected, UK GDP was announced at 0.1%. As expected, it was expected, but the previous reading was 0.4, so it is a little bit disappointing, certainly for the UK Chancellor, where they wanted to try and encourage growth, obviously. But to be fair, like I said yesterday, it was a little bit of a story this morning, but since then, it's been taken over by more trade talk and gold breaking records. So anyway, let's have a quick look at the market again. Let's go back to the market now. Let's have a look. First of all, I'll start off with S&P 500. Like I said, we have opened with a slight bounce today, slight recovery. Currently trading at 5,835 points. But like I say, if you look on a longer picture of it, again, this is the 4th week of losses we're going to experience. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So not good. Not good at all. Same with the NASDAQ. Again, looks like it's going to close a 4th week of no gains. So that's not good at all. And let's have a quick look at currencies. Euro, okay, again, not a lot. It's on a 30-minute, still trading around 1.08679. So still, again, getting that boost from what was discussed last week with Germany and EU putting more money into defense and infrastructure. Above the 200-day moving average still as well. Key area of interest there for me is 1.06548, but it's still riding high. And as well as that, it's riding high, of course, because of the weaker US dollar, don't forget. Let's have a quick look at the cable. Again, we had the UK GDP today. Again, not a massive move. Didn't really affect it because it was priced in. It was expected. And like I said, it's currently trading at the moment at 129, above the 129 level. So all good with that. Let's have a quick look at the Mag 7 as well. We always do because the Mag 7 is often a big talking point. Tesla. Let's have a look, see how it's going to end the week. Actually, let's look at the weekly as well with Tesla. I mean, yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's looking like it's going to have a 6 week of losses again for Tesla as well. Not good for them at the moment. And then I've done plenty of videos on Tesla. So go back and have a look at the playlist. I've discussed Tesla a lot. I mean, check out the one about what's called Trump buys a Tesla. So I've already discussed this in quite a fair bit. Meta, again, negative for the day. Microsoft, slight recovery from yesterday, but they're not. It's going to end on a negative. Alphabet's the same. And Nvidia, okay, slight gap today, slight recovery for the week. Okay, it's going to maybe end slightly stronger than the other Mag 7, which is quite good. Anywho, next week we have a very interesting week indeed, because we have US retail sales, Bank of Japan interest rate decision, EU CPI, Fed interest rate decision, and Bank of England interest rate decision. Sounds like, as you can see, it's going to be a very interesting week. I think with the BOJ, it's going to be very interesting because I think they're one of the only central banks who might increase interest rates. Fed, I think they'll probably sit on their hands, but we'll have to see. And Bank of England interest rate decision, they did cut rates previously. I think there is a holdback, but it's going to be a very interesting week. Like the pools, a fair bit of volatility. So please come and join me next week for all these events. Okay. But I still think, to be honest, it's going to be Trump and his trade policy. It's going to dictate mainly what the market thinks. Don't forget, this is indeed a live show, so you can talk to me anytime you like, especially if you watch me on YouTube. Chat away, ask me questions, or share with me your opinion. You know, what do you think of gold today? Are you excited as I am about gold hitting $3,000? Or what do you think about, obviously, the stock market and the trade war? Share with me your opinions. This is the whole point of the live shows, is so that we can, I've got a comment. It's so we can chat. Excellent. Brilliant. This is lovely. Thanks for the updates. My absolute pleasure. Thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, we go live every day. Every day we go live. And like I say, thank you for that. The whole point of these little live broadcasts is that, that I'm trying to build a little bit of a community so we can chat, share ideas, discuss the markets and things like that. But that's the whole point. I mean, excuse me. If you are indeed watching me on YouTube and you like this sort of thing, by all means, subscribe if you like. Hit the notification button so you know next time we're going live. And if you enjoy this sort of content and you've put up with me, by all means, give me one of these. It's nice to know that you like what I do. And the same if you're watching me on Twitter as well, do that. And the other thing, if you're watching me on YouTube and you're watching the recording, because not everybody watches it live, some people go back and watch the recordings I've done. By all means, leave a comment below with a question or your opinion. I will see it and I will reply next time I go on live. I'll go live, which of course will be next Monday, the start of a new week. Anywho, if there is no comments or questions, thank you so much, guys, for coming along and watching. Thank you for the comment as well, saying hi. I really appreciate that. That's nice. Anyway. Thank you. Hope you Michael, hope you're good. Anyway, if there is no more questions, leaves me to say, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only. and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till next time, every single one of you, trade safe.